Frutiger Aero is refreshing in a way that's hard to explain. And for many, including me, it has a layer of nostalgia attached to it. Some describe it as a future we were promised, but never happened. The Aesthetics Wikipedia describes Frutiger Aero as a broad design style and aesthetic that was prevalent in advertising, media, stock imagery, and technology from roughly 2004 to 2013, although it's not to be mistaken with its predecessor, the Y2K aesthetic. In this diagram, you can see the key differences between the two. On the Frutiger side, you have the addition of grass, water, floral patterns, bubbles, and nature. And on the Y2K side, we have things like liquid, metallic, and chrome textures. It's kind of hard to describe how Y2K is, but if you see it, you know what it is. And it's definitely not Frutiger Aero. So why is Frutiger Aero so appealing? In today's world, it seems we are regularly faced with once-in-a-lifetime catastrophic events. Climate change, corporate greed, inflation, political corruption, and the scary implications of what AI is becoming makes it hard to stay hopeful for what the future has to hold. As I mentioned earlier, Frutiger Aero can be very nostalgic for some. It's what us kids in the early 2000s imagined the world today might look like. A bright, colorful future where we've become more in tune with the natural and man-made world, blending in a way that makes them work together. It encapsulates the sense of hope and promise we had for the future and what we had to look forward to. It was a style born of optimism for what was to come next, and for some encapsulates what they believe things should be like now. It also just reminds us of simpler times. It's alluring due to how refreshing the art is itself. The water, fish, nature, and general vibe has an extremely clean and easy feeling to it. For some context on Frutiger Aero, quoting the Aesthetics Wiki again, this aesthetic was originally unnamed at the time, being more associated with specific styles. For example, Windows Aero, iOS's skeuomorphic icons, and the visuals of Mirror Edge and Spore, rather than a broader aesthetic. At the time, some referred to it as Web 2.0 gloss, when the aesthetic was mainstream. However, it was mostly used to describe the glossy elements of Frutiger Aero rather than the aesthetic as a whole. The term Frutiger Aero was coined in 2017 by Sophie Lee of the Consumer Aesthetics Research Institute and went viral in 2022, leading to the renewed interest in the aesthetic. Now, I'd like to show you some cool examples of Frutiger Aero in media that you may remember if you grew up in the early 2000s. The most obvious and recognizable example would be from the Xbox 360 and the Wii family. Here, you can see how the Xbox and Wii's home screen both incorporate the style choices we mentioned earlier. The glossy look and 3D elements added to the panels and icons along with the bright colors gives them a fresh, clean feeling, but also has the added nostalgia of being two of the most popular consoles at the time. Another great example would be Mirror's Edge, as I mentioned before. It encapsulates everything Frutiger Aero, and just by looking at it, you can tell how heavily influenced the game was by the style. We can also see aspects of the aesthetic in a variety of different commercials at the time.
At Toyota, we're moving forward in hybrid technology, developing hybrid vehicles that achieve seemingly contradictory goals.
It feels like no other credit card in the world. And it works like no other card, too. Feel free to choose cash back. And then change to points. And then...
Aquos Quattro, the four-color technology.
20 million customers nationwide. Works with nearly half the Fortune 1000 and provides the wireless network for BlackBerry and Palm.
Another important aspect of the Frutiger family would be Frutiger Metro, which some even call flat Frutiger Aero. The main difference between Frutiger Aero and Frutiger Metro is that Frutiger Aero uses 3D depth-filled graphics, while Frutiger Metro uses 2D flat vector patterns. And here's some side-by-side comparisons. If you're interested in any of the other Frutiger family and want to learn more, the Aesthetic Wikipedia has this chart available, which is a very comprehensive list of all the genres that branched off from the broad Frutiger aesthetic. And I highly suggest you check it out. That's going to be all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.